Hello, my lovelies. Elle Summer here from livepurposefullynow.com. And I hope that your day is wonderful and filled with magic. And if that's not the case so far, then this broadcast is for you. Because today I'm talking about the effortless way. The effortless way to a happy, successful life filled with abundance and prosperity. And one of the things that we are inclined to do is to not live life effortlessly, to not effortlessly live this happy, successful life that we so deserve, that you so deserve. And there's no need for us to make this life of ours harder than it need be. There really is no need, dear ones. Not when we have available to us everything that we need to live this effortless way of abundance and prosperity. And so that's why I'm going to focus on some stories today that I hope will illustrate what I mean by the effortless way and make it easy for everyone. Let me just say hello to those who have joined us. We have Jenny White, of course, Jenny of who I couldn't do any of this without. She is the heart and soul of Live Purposefully Now, and I thank her for that. Debbie Wisecup, hey to you, Debbie. And Jennifer Croney Williams, hello. Judy Catherine Holt, welcome. Diana Marines, hello to you. Cheryl Fletcher Greening has joined us. Hello and welcome. And Kyle Watt, hello. So hello, everybody. I hope that you're all ready to discover what I'm talking about when I say that there is an effortless way to live a happy, successful life. And that we don't have to make this life of ours so flipping hard. So you might be wondering exactly what this is. Perhaps life hasn't been that effortless for you. And, you know, we all have moments like that. But the effortless way is basically using the minimum of energy and taking the shortest possible time to build and live that life that you want to live. How good does that sound? It sounds pretty good, doesn't it? But really, it honestly is not too good to be true. The effortless way is using least action from an inner perspective. And the inner way of least action is conditioning your mind to behave in the way that leads you to the effortless outer way. Because why make our life more difficult than it need be? And in order to illustrate this, I'm going to share 4 little stories about the effortless way. And my first little story is about my darling one. He used to be a bodybuilder back in the day, not a champion in the strict sense of the world, but he trained with Mr. Korea, if that counts for anything. And he's still basically a gym rat and dedicated to keeping fit. And I have to confess that all his discipline is difficult for this whiny, do I really have to walk today? It's too windy kind of girl like me. The dedication and discipline required just to build a regular old bod, let alone a Mr. or Mrs. Career, stretches me way beyond anywhere that I think I want to go. And yet, to lead a bigger, grander, and greater life, we need to do this. We need to stretch this. We need to stretch our way of being. We need to use that discipline. And I'm not talking about building huge muscles. I'm talking about the training and the dedication and the discipline that is about training our inner world. And even though I'm going to say it's not our body that needs training, speaking for myself, it probably does just a little. Well, okay, maybe a lot. If I want to move those extra 10 pounds that somehow materialized over the past few years, where did they come from? But having extra layers around my rear end isn't what I mean when I'm talking about a bigger life. I know you know that. I'm talking about a life of greater possibilities, of happier outcomes, and this absolutely brilliant future. And in order to experience this, we must alter our mental musings. We must train our mind to focus on the things we desire, the things we'd like to experience, the relationships we want to have, just like Mr. and Mrs. Korea train their body to experience, so that they can experience the body that they want to win their competitions, I suppose. And your thoughts, dear ones, are the parent. They are the parent of your actions. They are the force behind your world. And to have a beautiful world on the outside, we need to keep our attention on beautiful things on the inside. And I just think it's so liberating and amazing and powerful to understand that all in our world, all in your world, all in my world, is a reflection of our own mental activity. Don't you think that there's something really amazing and awesome about knowing that, which gives us the power to use that, to understand that all conditions are reflections of our state of mind? I'll tell you another story about that in a minute. But to stick with Mr. Korea, once the awareness that these conditions are reflections of our state of mind, if you're anything like me, we instantly want to change the world into our ideal. I did try that. And yes, excuse me, I'm still a work in progress. And being a work in progress, I just want to say that this past week I've had some kind of throat infection. So if I get a bit croaky every now and then, it's simply because it hasn't quite passed. So forgive me for the croakiness. But as where I was, the awareness sinks in, and we want to change the world into our ideal. And this is where the discipline and dedication come in. If we are to succeed, we've got to change our habit of thinking. And a great place to start is to stop reading and listening to the flipping news. We're all affected by everything our mind is regularly exposed to. So instead of the latest story of the day, fill your mind with what you want. It'll feel so much better, honestly. Stop reacting to the events of the day and begin creating new events in your imagination. You can create a mini play mentally. You can do this. You're the star of this mini play where everybody tells you what you want to hear because, hey, it's your play and it's your script and you get to write just what you want. Never mind what anybody else thinks. And include speech and action and anything that feels real to you. Just make it huge and lovely. So if you're ready for this, as soon as this broadcast is over, go for it. Take 5 minutes and do it. Write it down so you remember and you can do it again tomorrow. And that's the discipline of the effortless way. There's no heavy lifting involved, just inner focus and attention. And on to my second story. And it takes me back to my school days. In art appreciation at school, our teacher was fond of telling us that Vincent van Gogh said he would dream his paintings and then paint his dream. I'm sure you've all heard this. And I could never paint worth a lick, but I was a pretty good dreamer. So I used to imagine having really cool dreams of the wonderful things that I painted, because there was no way I was going to be able to do them out there. So I have a question for you. If life was a painting, what would you fill your canvas with? Would you fill it with everything that's on there now? Or would you fill it with something bigger, greater, more lovely? Because that's always a good place to start, which is basically answering the question, what do I want? And it's amazing to me that with all the information available to us, even now, far too many people can tell you more of what they don't want than what they'd really like to see happen in their world. There were times in my life when I wasn't really certain what I wanted. And as a teenager, my mum would say, well, just choose something that feels good until you know what you really want. And that turned out to be really excellent advice, because at the very least, I would experience something in my life that felt good, even when it wasn't precisely what I wanted. And I think that in my ignorance of the laws of life, I thought I might get stuck with what I'd chosen and never be able to choose something else. And I wonder if that's why so many people don't choose what they actually want. Excuse me, did warn you about my throat. But anyway, personally, instead of Van Gogh, I'd probably choose Monet as the artistic style I'd choose to paint my world, because I like gardens. Plus, I've been to Giverny in France, where Monet lived, and it's really, really lovely. And I'd happily go again right now. I'd happily go today. I hope my darling one is watching this, because I think I'm sending him a hint. But anyway, these artists, you'll notice, they didn't paint life as it actually was on their canvases. Their paintings were a reflection of their inner eye of imagination. And that's the trick with our life canvas. It shouldn't represent our life as it currently is, but the life that we want. And we get to choose what this is, which is pretty awesome. So what is it for you, Van Gogh or Monet? Or some other style maybe? But for me, when I first got the hang of this choosing stuff, I was on a roll. I'll choose this. Oh, no, wait, I think I'll choose that. And oh, hang on, I've changed my mind again. Maybe it wasn't so much a roll, more of a roller coaster. But at least I wasn't getting life's leftovers. I had the freedom to choose what felt good, and I was choosing it. And there were some days when I simply chose to feel happy. That was what I wanted in that moment. And so I say to you, my lovelies, every day you get a new opportunity to create your own masterpiece, your greatest masterpiece, your wonderful, brilliant, beautiful, amazing life masterpiece. Today, for instance, you could fill your canvas with health and wealth and happiness for everyone that you know and love, as well as yourself. Did I forget to mention that you can paint great pictures for others? And it feels really good when you do that. And the beautiful thing about that is the vibration of painting something good for others is yours too. And so you get more things to appear in your world with that same vibration. So it's good. It really feels good to do that for others. And that's the effortless way of simply choosing and painting your own story. And the third story I've got here basically is, I don't know whether you've heard that old saying that an ounce of perception is worth a pound of performance. I haven't always understood what that meant, but now I do, because there was a Harvard study in 2008 of a small group of hotel housekeepers. And for them, that concept of an ounce of perception really seemed to be true. And so let me tell you how that worked. We've all been in hotels, and we've seen hotel maids lugging that heavy equipment around the corridors. And yet those who participated in the study claimed that they never exercised, and they never saw what they did on a daily basis as exercise. And to add to that kind of disconnect, given the amount of exercise these maids actually did on a daily basis, their body fat, their blood pressure, their weight, and apparently their body mass index, whatever the heck that is, matched their perception of how little exercise they undertook. It was as though they didn't exercise at all, which seemed really odd, given those heavy pieces of equipment they were lugging around all day. But for the sake of the study, the housekeepers were split into two groups. One group being told that their daily activity met the Surgeon General's definition of a very active lifestyle, and the other group told nothing. And a month goes by, and the research team return to take the physical measurements. And guess what happened? Big surprise, or maybe no surprise to us. The group that were made aware of the active lifestyle that they were leading showed a decrease in weight, a decrease in waist to hip ratio, and a 10% drop in their blood pressure. And they didn't change their behavior at all. And the researchers' conclusion was that the changed mindset had an impact on their physical bodies. And we all know about the power of our assumptions and our mindset, don't we, dear hearts? That it has a total impact on the experiences that happen in our physical world. And yes, even in our physical body. which is really cool to see it scientifically proven, even though we don't need it because we've probably tested it out for ourselves and found it to be true. But that is part of the effortless way. Pay attention to your assumptions and to your mindset. It's going to make all the difference to your life being that prosperous, abundant, happy one that is yours just for the mindset and just for the assumptions that you're making. And the fourth story is a recent story. I was listening to some friends tell me recently about really, really exciting things happening in their life. And I was happy for them. And I was thrilled. They're wonderful people and they do deserve to have wonderful things happen. But then, here we are, a couple of weeks later, and am I still hearing of the wonderful things in their life? No, I'm not. Today, all they can talk about is how rotten life is, how dreadful things are, how miserable it is. So, what happened? Where did that good life go? What happened to La Dolce Vita with these people? How did it manage to disappear between then and now? A couple of weeks ago and now. Is there some unspeakable void that swallows great experiences so we can't see them anymore? Just like my washing machine makes socks disappear? This was the puzzlement of the day for me. And it's taken a while, but I think I get it. If 80% of life works fantastically well, we prefer to dwell on the 20% that doesn't, that basically sucks. It's as though we're programmed by some master computer up in the sky to see a life that's less than real. Or is that a movie? It's probably a movie. I'm thinking of something like The Matrix. Well, what I have to say to that is, not in my world, my lovelies. I've got a plan to thwart any real or imaginary gigantic sky computer messing with my life. And it's a simple little trick. And it's a trick you can use, and it's a trick that I use. And it's simply encourage yourself. By focusing on your successes, they can't disappear into the void. They're going to be in the forefront of your mind, and you can continue to enjoy them. So stop looking for what isn't working, or what didn't get done, or what could have been done better. And instead, acknowledge your successes, the big ones and the small ones. Love them all, as my darling one likes to say. And he's right. Success, dear hearts, breeds success, major or minor, in any area of life, be it financial, health, fitness, relationship, service, learning, whatever. I've personally been known to count unloading the dishwasher as a success. And I'm sure someone in our household, who shall be nameless, will be the first in line to give me a high five for that. So I'm going to say to you, what have you got to lose? Try acknowledging your successes every day for a month and see if more success comes your way. And if you're up for this, let us all know at the end of the month how it went for you. Say, yes, I'm going to do this for a month in the comments, because I'd love to hear from you. And I'd truly, truly love to hear how it went. And write them down. As I've said before, when we don't write things down, they easily get lost in our daily, everyday life. You know, have a little book, make notes on your phone, just write them down. Simple successes that you can acknowledge and return to and look at. And that's the fourth story for the effortless way today. So encourage yourself, count your successes, write them down so that you can keep a check on them. But most of all, watch how you feel as you're doing this, and how many more successes you have to count as time goes by, and how much bigger they get. It's really a super cool, brilliant system that we operate in. And the effortless way is basically discipline, inner focus and attention, no heavy lifting involved, choosing and painting your own life story with whatever theme that you like, and watch your assumptions and your mindset. And finally, encourage yourself through acknowledgement of your successes. And on a final note, because I'm being asked more and more about the little helpers that I use on a daily basis for my own health, happiness, success, and the continued expansion of myself, which are, of course, those little essential oils, today I'm going to I'm going to go with the one that's called Highest Potential. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm actually diffusing it in that diffuser behind me. And Highest Potential it is really valuable for me because we live in a world where we sometimes need to be reminded of how capable we are. And when practicing the effortless way, you can help make it more effortless by keeping your vibration at a level that that is a match for the things that you want to experience. And you can do this effortlessly just by, I'm diffusing it. You can actually put a bit on your wrists, but enjoying the uplifting and inspiring aroma of Highest Potential. And that's pretty effortless. And so I'm going to leave a link for anyone wanting to check it out. And remember that it's great for focusing, raising your vibration, and helping you operate your life in a more effortless way. And that's it for me, dear hearts. May your life be blessed this week with the effortless success and happiness and prosperity that is already yours. You just have to say yes to it. And I'm just going to go over, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm just going back to the comments, and if you enjoyed this broadcast, please share it with others, and help their life become more effortless in the way that they're living it, because we're all in this together, and the more that we can help and encourage one another, the better our own lives become. So let's have a look. Who have I missed here? Let's see. Debbie can relate. Must be more mindful and aware, says Cheryl. Yeah, I mean, it just makes such a difference, and it's really not hard. For me, it's not as hard as going to the gym and lifting all those weights and trying to get a Mrs. Korea body. And also, I personally find it fun. Kyle Watt, he's enjoying it. Thank you, Kyle. Please share it with others that you think might enjoy it. Cheryl says, the mind is so powerful. Yes, it is. Let's see, do we have any questions I can answer? No, I don't believe I do. So I am going to love you and leave you, and I will come back later and go through the comments and say hello and thank you. And I do appreciate, as always, you being here and joining us and joining in the conversation. So I will see you same time, hopefully, next week. And meantime, go and live that effortless way, my darlings, because you deserve it.